Agents allege retribution and incompetence at the top security agency. The lawsuit from three senior and lauded FBI agents at the Bureau says the Trump administration demands loyalty for those staying at the Bureau. Tyrone Bowman, live. According to NPR, the Trump administration launched a campaign of retribution against senior Federal Bureau of Investigation officials who refused to demonstrate loyalty to President Trump, firing them last month for improper political reasons before they could collect early retirement benefits, according to a new lawsuit from three senior FBI agents. The lawsuit describes leaders inside the FBI and Justice Department as both partisan and inept, struggling to please the White House and willing to dismiss anyone who crossed President Trump. At his Senate confirmation hearing, FBI Director Kash Patel promised to protect employees from improper political removal. Of course, we knew that was a lie when he spoke it. But once he arrived at the Bureau's headquarters, the lawsuit alleges Patel deliberately chose to follow directives from the White House rather than federal law. His decision to do so degraded the country's national security by firing three of the FBI's most experienced operational leaders, each of them experts in preventing terrorism and reducing violent crime, the lawsuit says. The three plaintiffs are among the most senior and lauded FBI agents to have worked at the Bureau in recent memory. Brian Driscoll won awards for bravery and valor and led hostage rescue teams before briefly serving as acting FBI director this year. Steve Hansen ran the Washington field office and managed some 2,000 employees working on national security and violent crime. Spencer Evans oversaw high-profile investigations, including a Tesla Cybertruck bombing outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas this year, according to the lawsuit. Now, from what I'm reading, you can clearly see that these individuals are professionals and they knew probably exactly what they are doing. The men allege their dismissals violated their Fifth Amendment right to due process and the First Amendment's guarantee to free association and free speech. Quote, they were willing to sacrifice those people who had done nothing all of their lives but to protect the American people for no other reason than to be some sort of emblem of revenge or retribution. End quote. A.B. Lowell, an attorney for the three fired FBI officials, told NPR, going after people to make a statement became more important than the core commission of the FBI itself. The case marks the second time the Bureau has been sued by its own agents this year. All three men have served for 2 decades at the time of the dismissal, but they could not formally retire because they had not yet reached the age of 50. They need to sue. They need to sue and continue to sue. Even if they lose, appeal it and keep appealing. The FBI declined to comment about the lawsuit. So, for Driscoll's hints of trouble began even before the inauguration. The lawsuit alleges around mid-January, he received a phone call asking about his willingness to take a more senior role at the FBI. A young, controversial member of the White House transition team with minimum experience asked Driscoll, when did you start supporting President Trump? Inquired about his voting record and solicited his thoughts about diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. That's disgusting. See, this is the problem in America right now. These 3 words: diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is the new code for black. This is the new N-word that the Republicans are using behind closed doors to describe black people every day. Oh, they're saying it. They're slinging it like free government, stale, green, rotted cheese. And if you think they're not, you are deceiving yourself. You know they're saying it because of how nasty they speak when they're in public, but you're going to get caught one day. Someone's going to have a hidden camera. Someone's going to have some hidden audio. And someone is going to expose you all for the individuals that you really are. And this thing about anti-whiteness in America, there is no anti-whiteness in America. White people have had freedom protections ever since they rioted and destroyed the Native Americans within this country. The lawsuit said Driscoll refused to respond to questions about his voting record and about Trump, since FBI employees are not supposed to share personal political views on the job. Driscoll got word he would soon be tapped to serve as the Bureau's acting deputy director, the second in command, but on Inauguration Day, a White House report listing interim heads of agencies referred to Driscoll as the acting director. He had been promoted by mistake. Email Bove, then a DOJ official, later said it was a clerical error that the White House was unwilling to fix, the lawsuit said. A week later, Bove, who was serving as the acting deputy attorney general, pulled aside Driscoll and another senior FBI official. After a security briefing, Bove told them he faced pressure from White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller to see symmetrical action at the FBI and had been happening at DOJ, according to court papers. Of course, you know who Stephen Miller is, one of the architects behind Project 2025. Boy, you people got this country in a mess. To them, it meant widespread reassignments and terminations, just like the dismissal of prosecutors who worked on the January 6th Capitol riot cases and on the teams that probed Trump over mishandling of national security secrets and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Why didn't you all just leave office before this man took place? That's the thing that gets me. Why would you stick around and wait to be fired when you knew the man was going to fire you? You all had the opportunity not to even work for him. You could have all left when Biden was still in office. And you could have retired while Biden was still the president. Hundreds of thousands of you all who lost your jobs should have just left before he was even sworn in. And you all knew that retribution and revenge was going to be the MO. Trump in the past has accused the Justice Department of unfairly targeting him and his supporters in politically motivated investigations and sought to reshape the agency since he returned to the White House. Bove later demanded a list of FBI workers who took part in the investigations of January 6, 2021, the biggest probe in Justice Department history, which Trump unwound with mass clemencies on his first day in office this year. Driscoll refused. The lawsuit alleges saying it would put national security at risk and violate federal civil service laws and rules. The dispute between the media and the dispute reached the media and prompted some FBI agents to create whimsical memes lauding Driscoll for standing up for the workforce. The lawsuit said that groundswell of support infuriated Bove, who was portrayed in one video as the Batman villain Bane, while Driscoll was depicted as Batman. Bove has since been prompted to a lifetime tenure federal judge post, appeals court based in Pennsylvania. Oh my God, I feel sorry for anybody and threats. Like Driscoll, the Trump administration prompted former FBI agent Stephen Jensen only weeks before it fired him. Jensen helped coordinate the Bureau's responses to the siege on the Capitol more than 4 years ago, but he was elevated to lead the FBI's Washington field office under the agency's news leaders this year. Jensen worked closely with new FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, a former high right-wing podcaster and Secret Service agent. Among other duties, the lawsuit says Jensen regularly briefed Bongino of high-priority investigations into the pipe bombs placed near the Capitol on January 6th, the leak of the Supreme Court's draft decision overruling the right to abortion, and the discovery of cocaine in the White House during the Biden administration. Let me see how much. Okay. During these briefings, Jensen became alarmed at Bongino's intense focus on increasing online engagement through his social media profiles in an effort to change his followers' perception of the FBI. The emphasis that Bogino placed on creating content for his social media pages could risk outweighing more deliberate analysis of investigations. The lawsuit also details Jensen's interaction with Patel, the FBI director, about disclosing the name of an FBI agent who worked on several politically sensitive cases. Jensen met with Patel to ask him not to publicly name the agent for fear he would be subjected to online abuse and threats. The agent's wife had only 2 days to live amid a battle against stage 4 cancer. At the end of the meeting, court papers said Patel handed Jensen a challenge coin inscribed with the word director at the top, Cash Patel at the bottom. Such coins are popular in the national security community as tokens of appreciation, but this one was much larger than usual. Patel told Jensen that he wanted him to be one of the first recipients of his new challenge coin, the lawsuit said. So, not long after, Jensen and the agents whose wife fought cancer were both fired. These people are pathetic and inhumane at the worst. Man's wife is dying from cancer. While she's dying, y'all fire him from his job. Word of wisdom to the wise. Become an entrepreneur. Discover your own self-worth. Become dependent upon you and not something other than you. Never surrender. Never quit.